Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks to all of you who recently subscribed. I really appreciate the views, likes, and comments you guys have been leaving on these videos. It really helps the channel out a lot. Now, with that being said, I wanted to talk about one reason for high car prices that doesn't get mentioned a lot, and that is the consumer, as in us, the customers. And this isn't mentioned enough because we don't see much talk on YouTube about the factors keeping prices high. Most content on YouTube is about the factors that could crash or reset or correct the auto market. Of course, we all watch YouTubers who discuss reasons for a potential car market collapse, and that includes unsold inventory, overflowing lots, high interest rates, struggling automakers, negative equity, repossessions, and so on. And by the way, I wanted to take a quick side note on the repossessions angle. I think it seems kind of silly, to me at least, to list it as a major reason for a market crash or, any downtick in the prices, because repossessions are a small fraction of the total car market. Most repossessions happen in the subprime segment, which is already a small percentage overall, and banks are already aware of this, and it's typically factored into their expectations. So the idea that we're going to see a massive downturn from a tsunami of repossessions seems pretty nonsensical if you ask me. But even if you do believe repossessions are a huge issue, what does that say about customers? It implies a lot of people are buying cars they just can't afford. And if that's the case, how many people are buying overpriced cars that they can barely afford? This all circles back to us, the consumers. We're a big part of this issue. Remember a few videos back when I talked about the final numbers for 2024, I mentioned how many vehicles consumers bought last year? Well, sales are basically back to pre-pandemic levels, despite the fact that vehicle prices are around 25% higher than they were in 2019. At least according to Kelley Blue Book, the average car price was around $38,000 in 2019, but about $47,000 in 2024. Yet vehicle sales were only down by 6% from 17 million to 16 million units. So think about that. Basically, Ford and GM, who get mocked a lot on YouTube for having so much unsold inventory, both saw sale increases, not decreases. Their sales went up. This suggests that people in charge of production levels believe that the consumer market, because just like how there's a car market, there's also a consumer market, and they believe that this consumer market would give them more sales even with no price drops, and that they were going to have more customers buying overpriced vehicles. And that's just a reality. No matter how many YouTubers insist that there's going to be these prices coming down, the facts on the ground say otherwise. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to bring up Stellantis, and yes, they were down 15%, but the reality is the rest of the market was up. So Stellantis is the outlier, not the norm. They're not the canary in the coal mine, they're more like the black sheep of the industry. So they're not predictors of a car market crash, just the worst run automaker. And the thing is, everything is overpriced, but Stellantis went way overboard. They pushed their luck too far, didn't know when to pull back, and overdid it. They're not representative of the average automaker. They're just the most delusional. And also them being down only 15% doesn't mean consumers were savvy and walked away. It just means Stellantis priced out most of their customer base. Those customers couldn't qualify to overpay at Stellantis' high prices, so they bought from GM or Ford instead. Sales were up in 2024 overall compared to 2023, which means people were overpaying. They just weren't willing to overpay at Stellantis. In a lot of ways, Stellantis is just as bad at pricing their vehicles as consumers are at navigating this market. Consumers are desperate as Stellantis is delusional. Even with Stellantis struggling, not many buyers use that as a leverage to get lower prices. Typically, an oversupply of new inventory would help customers negotiate, but that didn't really happen. You could argue Stellantis' missteps helped boost GM and Ford because Stellantis finally slashed their prices near the end of 2024. And I'm talking about, 10, 20, 25% discount in price. But by then, the damage was already done. And a lot of customers that would have taken those deals earlier in the year ended up going to GM and Ford and probably paying a lot more than what those deals entailed. So it was sort of a lose-lose situation for both sides. At the end of the day, a lot of this rests on us, the consumers. This is why I'm skeptical that the car prices will drop. It's much harder to change consumer attitudes than to change the market conditions. If people have become used to these high prices and if their perception of what a car should cost has shifted, then it's tough to reverse that. Unless I guess there's like a major economic downturn. But as long as customers keep paying top dollar, I doubt we'll see any significant price cuts. Anyways, that's all I've got for this one. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, and be sure to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.